So how do you avoid narcissistic people in the future without offending good people? This video is going to be about how to become a repellent to narcissists. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers. If you are new to the channel, my name is Elizabeth Shaw and this channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder, to give you more understanding of the people you might have been around throughout your life, how to handle those people if you cannot go no contact with them, how to handle yourself around those people that like to bring you down, different methods to find what works for you to recover from narcissistic abuse. There is also amazing advice in the comments about different methods to help what's helped other people recover from narcissistic abuse. So if you have any advice, please do add it into the comments. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please also subscribe. So when it comes to repelling narcissistic people in the future, one of the first things that we do need to create to avoid toxic people who like to take advantage of us in the future is creating our boundaries. It's all well and good saying to people, if by saying yes to somebody else is saying no to yourself, it needs to be a no, which is true. But how do you get to that point of knowing it's a no before the event's happened and afterwards you're full of resentment? How do you know whether that person is a trustworthy person or not? It comes down to knowing yourself, knowing your beliefs. Beliefs are a trust or a faith in something or someone. We also need to have a trust or a faith within ourselves. What do we believe in as a person? And trying to work out what we believe in as a person often comes down to our values, which the basic thing with our values is, if you wouldn't treat somebody else that way, don't accept that treatment from another towards you, which narcissistic people are extremely entitled and extremely hypocritical. So they will often treat somebody in a manner that they will not accept in return. So when it comes down to our values, that's what we perceive as an individual from right, from wrong. Yes, there are laws of the land that we have to abide by, but day-to-day things that we see as right from wrong, and if it's not harming somebody just because somebody else's right from wrong doesn't match yours, doesn't mean that they are wrong. It just means they're not the kind of person you want to get too close to, especially if they cannot see your point of view. Respect, so looking at how you treat people. If someone is treating you in a way you wouldn't treat someone, or if someone is treating their friends or family or co-workers in a way that you wouldn't treat somebody, that person will one day treat you that way. So watch out for people who treat people in an unpleasant way, or gossip about people, or hold grudges against people. Responsibility. What do you class yourself as being responsible for? And when you make a promise, do you do your best to keep those promises? Do you try not to make a promise if you know you're not going to be able to deliver on it? So watch people's words and then watch their actions. Observe people, not in a way that narcissistic people do it, to manipulate people. Observe them to get to know them for who they are before you get in too deep with them in the future. Boundaries are, we have boundaries around our property. We have a hedge or a fence to show that that is our land, and boundaries are individual, person to person and property to property. Some will have bigger boundaries, bigger fences around them, bigger hedges around them. Some people will have smaller boundaries, and it all depends on the individual person. If you've got a neighbour that's willing to take your bin out, you would be willing to take their bin out. If the neighbour on the other side would not be willing to take yours out, you wouldn't take theirs out. If the neighbour next door to you on the left knocks first before entering your home, then you would respect that and knock on their door first. If the neighbour on the right walks straight in and you don't mind, and they don't mind if you walk straight into their house, then those boundaries are individual. If you mind them walking straight into yours, so you have to start locking your door, then they are overstepping that boundary line. Boundaries are individual and personal to you. If something's going to make you feel resentment, that is a sign that you need to be creating that boundary. You can explain yourself to someone once, and if they are willing to listen to you, then that shows that they're willing to compromise and reach a mutual understanding, even if they don't agree with you. With narcissistic people, you will continually have to explain yourself and they will continually let you down. Boundaries aren't to offend people. Often you're not offended if someone else has got a boundary. So people that care about you would not be offended about yours. They would be respectful of yours as you would them. When it comes to things like boundaries, narcissistic people are very, very good at guilt tripping people with, after all I've done for you. The matter of fact is they often have done very little for you. So when meeting new people, or if you are still around some form of narcissistic person within your life, stay in your reality, stay in your version of events. Don't try to explain yourself to them, because often a lot of them will take this as criticism because they're trying to gaslight you into believing their version of events. They can then go on the defensive because they believe you're trying to gaslight them. So the best thing you can do is stay in your reality. If their behaviour isn't acceptable, it isn't acceptable, and then you have the choice to walk away. Paying attention to people's words as well as their actions, their previous actions. So paying attention to people's words and seeing if they match their actions, but also paying attention to how they talk about other people and their previous patterns of behaviour with other people. Don't think that everybody thinks like you. Yes, we can have people that have similar views, have similar opinions, have similar values, but they can still interpret those values differently to how we can. Thinking that everybody is coming from that place of wanting the best for everybody can let us down. Some people are coming from a place where they are envious of other people and they want to bring people down. So be prepared to sometimes walk alone or take the unpopular approach in life. You'll find that a lot of the time you will find people that will agree with you. You will find people that will agree to disagree with you, and you will find people that you need to let them walk away from you. We don't have to people please to be liked. People need to like us for who we are as a person. Narcissistic people manipulate people through mirroring and future faking and idolizing to be liked. We often try and help people and give our best to people, believing they're coming from the same place, in the hope that they like who we are as a person, the hope that they like our characteristics, when realistically people should like us for who we are as a person and not who they want us to be, which is the same. They sell themselves to us as who we would like them to be, and we don't see the difference between their gaslighting and what is actually reality. So when you are getting to know people, listen to the stories they are saying. If they like the same hobbies and the same interests about you, ask them questions about those hobbies and interests to see how much information they actually know about those hobbies and interests. If they want the similar sorts of dreams and have similar passions to you, ask them about those dreams, ask them about their opinion of those passions to see whether it is theirs or whether they are mirroring yours. Watch out for people that are incredibly charming and larger than life. That charm is usually hiding their manipulation. There is a big difference between arrogance and confidence. I shall add the video up here for arrogance. When it comes to arrogant people, it's usually covering up their insecurities. They are usually pulling people down to feel better about themselves. When it comes to confidence, people are usually humble within their own capabilities. So watch for not only how they talk about other people, but how they talk about themselves. Do they, once they've got to know you, do they then monopolise the conversation to all about them? Or when you're having that two-way conversation, has something always worse happened to them, or something always better happened to them? Are they always trying to make it about them? Are they always seeking that attention? The stories they tell of their past, do they seem a little exaggerated? We don't have to think, oh, I feel bad because I feel like they're exaggerating that. That's their reality. If they think it happened like that, it happened like that. If you think the story doesn't match up, it's time to step away. Or ask them more questions. Just pay an interest to the story, because often manipulative people will trip themselves up. Cut ties with anyone that brings you down. This can be narcissists flying monkeys, it can be the narcissist enablers, it can be their friends and family members. If you had a narcissistic partner and you might have made some mutual friends with their friends, you might be friendly with their family, and you might feel cruel stepping away. What you've got to remember is that is their family. Narcissistic families often, not always, do run in packs. Sometimes there might be a family member that's wanting to escape the ways of that family that you can get along with, that will not go back and tell the narcissist all about you. But in general, try to cut out anybody that is weighing you down, people that are bringing you down. You can only help raise people up. You cannot bring them up. You can only guide people, help people, support people as much as they want guidance, help and support. Those who are committed to bringing you down will bring you down. And the more we forgive them, the more they will take advantage of us. Forgiveness. It's okay to forgive. Forgiveness is for yourself. When it comes to forgiveness, that's your own personal choice. Forgiveness is for you. It's okay to give people one chance. The first time people make a mistake, we are human, we make mistakes. So the first time somebody makes a mistake, it's okay. If you can communicate with that person, if you go and approach them about this mistake and they start denying it, that's a sign we need to be stepping away. If they're willing to listen and understand our point of view, then yes, people make mistakes. If they repeat that mistake, there is no second chances. That is who they are as a person. People where it's one rule for them and another rule for everybody else. People who feel entitled to do as they please, yet expect others to conform to the social norms that they themselves are not willing to conform to. People who don't respect your sacrifices in life and keep taking advantage of your kindness and giving very little in return. Those kinds of people, it's time to walk away from or not get involved with. Finding your passion, whatever your passion is to you, whatever you enjoy doing for you, because often when we get busy doing the things that we enjoy doing, we have little time to focus on people that want to bring us down over what we're doing. And we can find people with a mutual passion within life that we do get on with and we can understand each other. The value in friendships comes from valuing and understanding each other's values, beliefs, opinions, personal choice, not from the number of friendships that we have. Back to boundaries. When you say no to somebody, watch how they react. Yes, we can all have that friend that will be wanting the best for us, so they might invite us out and we might say no, and they might be like, oh come on, you'd have a lovely time once you got there, but they would eventually back away if it's not what you wanted to do. So you can have people that might do it in your best interest. When you say no to somebody because there is no way any of it is in your best interest, and they start throwing those tantrums, begging, pleading, guilt tripping, throwing those tantrums, when you say no, that is a major red flag. When people react negatively to your no, when they're not willing to understand. You shouldn't have to explain yourself over and over and over again to the same person about the same situation. We can all say no to something and feel a need to explain ourselves once. That should be enough. If someone said no to you and explained their no to you, you'd reach that mutual understanding and compromise with that person, you would not keep going. So again, it's about your values of treating people how you'd like to be treated. So if they're not willing to treat you how you treat them, it's time to step away. If anyone has any advice on how they've managed to avoid narcissistic people, please do drop that into the comments. Today, write down your values, write down the things that matter to you as a person and the things that you are passionate about as a person, the hobbies that you enjoy, to start creating that future that you deserve. I shall add in the description the video on limiting beliefs, because it's easy to say these things and start doing these things, but we do have to work on other areas to get to that point, and working on other areas alongside can help us. So I shall add limiting beliefs into the description. I hope everybody has a brilliant day. Thank you very much for listening. Bye.